Okay, so good afternoon, and I'm so glad y'all turned out for the webinar. Today's the last day that the Academy is going to be open for enrollment. So, you know, I don't mean to push this down your throat. I'm not trying to cram this down anybody's throat. I just know, because Spirit's told me that the rest of the year is going to be quite powerful, the energies to ride, to help us evolve and grow and get rid of the crap that we need to get rid of for next year. So I just believe in it so much, believe in what, you know, Spirit can help us with. So I invite you to consider joining, because we won't reopen again until later in January. And by then, I think a lot of things we're going to get rolling, especially in the membership. So I'd hate for you to miss out on that. If it's something you've been thinking about doing, at least do the 3-day free trial so you can get a sense of what the Academy is like and whether that's something you want to stick with. I think in 3 days you'll get a good feeling, because there's enough in there and you have enough time for 3 days to just sample what's there. And we'll talk more about it, you know, later in the webinar. But yeah, really think about it. We've got a bunch of new people have come in and have a lot of guidance about where we're going to go in the next few months. Really going to dive into exploring the 12 universal laws, and mastering those laws are as important as understanding the law of attraction, which is only really one of the 12 laws. So a lot of people don't understand that if you're really going to understand manifestation, you need to understand the other laws as well, and how they show up in your life and how you can work with them to create the life that you desire. But then, as you know, in the work that I do, although some of you maybe watching are a little bit new to what I do, what I focus on is helping you clear what's blocking you, or what I like to call distortions. So since the title of this webinar is Clearing Your Money Distortions, let's start by talking about what distortions are. Quite simply, a distortion is anything that deviates from the idea that you are perfect, whole, and complete as you are, that you are source energy in a physical body. Anything that denies that contradicts that limits you, is a distortion, plain and simple. Okay. You could even say, and it would be true, that the first distortion happened back in the Garden of Eden. And by the way, Eve was not the bad woman that she is portrayed to be, okay? We were meant to start thinking for ourselves and making choices. So that was all going perfectly according to plan. Nothing went wrong. Nobody's to blame, nobody's guilty. So we got to stop with all that condemnation. But that was the first distortion, the idea that we could be separate from God, that we could choose something different. Because on the other side, there's only oneness. So here in this reality, as you're very well aware, there's a lot of non-oneness or dissension, or, you know, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of experiences that we have all had where we felt, at least for time, separate from God, separate from other people, separate even maybe from ourselves. So if you understand that, the idea that a distortion is basically a lie, but we came onto the earth plane to experience all this distortion, because we knew it would give us clarity, it would take us to a new place. And God wanted to experience herself in a new way, and the only way to do that was to introduce the whole concept of duality, of choice, of love and lack of love, right? So hot and cold, all the different, you know, extremes that do not exist on the other side, where there's only, again, oneness, where there is no suffering. So you might think, at least your human self might think, well, that was a stupid idea. Why did I want to come to this place and suffer? Okay. It's because the soul that you are, the God that you are, knew, or at least believed and hoped, that you would remember who you really are. And that in that remembering, you would come back to your power, to the truth of your knowing your divinity. And then you would be able to exert consciously positive choices, to choose differently. And you knew in that container of reality, this dichotomy of reality and duality, that there would be more growth and fulfillment. There would be more expansion. And God is all about expansion. And you are too. So we are wired, if you will, to grow, to expand, to seek, to try to understand and go further from where we are presently. We're just born that way. And anyone who doesn't feel that way, who's not, engrossed in that kind of endeavor or searching, is just repressed or very distorted. Okay, so the distortions limit us, and some of them we have brought with us from past lives. So those distortions are still active in our energy field. Some of those distortions we inherited from ancestors, our parents, great-great-great-grandparents maybe, all our ancestral lineage. Some of those beliefs and patterns are obviously not active. Some of them are very active. It really depends. It can depend on what your soul chose to experience in this life. It can depend on many factors. But basically, what I've noticed is people usually are aware of what their possible distortions are. Some people are acutely aware because you know what you have difficulty with. You know what trips you up, what continues to be a problem, what always seems to come up for you in certain situations, whether that's in a relationship or with work, or with yourself, in your different interactions with people and with life. Interestingly, most people say that they're introverted. You might feel that way too. And as I said in the previous webinar, being introverted is actually a distortion also. Why? Because look around. We don't live alone. We are surrounded by people. We're actually wired to be social. And when we're not social, and I don't mean like being a social butterfly, where you have tons of friends, and you've got, your Instagram is like 10,000 people or so. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about social, meaning that you like to get together with your friends and you enjoy meeting new people and going places and having new experiences. That's normal. That's healthy. And when someone doesn't feel that urge to reach out and connect and prefers instead to stay home, I mean all the time. I don't mean that you'd always want to reach out to people. I just mean that there are times when you want to and there are times when you don't, when you want to be more quiet and to yourself. But you're not stuck in a certain mode continuously. You're not always choosing to stay at home, that you're sometimes wanting to get out, and you look forward to engaging with new people, meeting new people, making new friends. Of course, you're not always going to like them, but you look forward to the engagement regardless and seeing where it may lead. So I find that most people, when I've asked them over the years, will say that they're introverted. Because for many of us, we wonder what's the alternative? Is the alternative to be extroverted? But an extrovert is distorted also. someone who always is on, who's always hyper, who's always, wanting to get out of the house and meet people and go places and see things. That's an extreme too. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a balance where you are comfortable getting out in the world and meeting people, and yet there are times when you want to kind of withdraw and ponder and think and be with yourself. You don't feel like you're compelled to do one or the other all the time. You kind of switch back and forth according to what's appropriate for you. So that's an example of a distortion. I think that it probably is easy for you to identify with, or if you don't have the introverted issue, you probably know people who do in your life. I don't think I've met anybody recently who have said that they do not identify themselves as an introvert, I was certainly that way for much of my life, and only became more comfortable as time went on, and right now probably more comfortable than I've ever been. So it takes time, but that's a distortion, and that can hold people back, right? Being introverted. The extreme of that is this pattern of hiding that I've talked about, that I created an attunement for called the Shining Star Attunement, which is also known as the Clearing the Pattern of Hiding Attunement. And that one, I would say most of you could use to get that fear of being visible out of your system, out of your energy field. Okay, that, what I've noticed, that one really inhibits people, whether they're introverted or not. This idea that you kind of have to hide, the subconscious fear of being seen, it limits people, handicaps them in so many ways. I swear, if people just cleared that, they would step into their power, they would realize what they really wanted to do and wanted to be, and they'd be confident. We're going to go into that this month, actually, in the webinar later this month on healing the imposter syndrome. The syndrome that actually so many people have. It's related to the pattern of hiding, though it can be different. But imposter syndrome is basically the feeling people have, the belief people have that they're fake, like they're making it up. They don't really know what they're talking about, that even if they're good at something or an expert at something and everybody looks at them as an expert, they don't feel like they're the expert. And ironically, it's usually the people who are the most qualified, who are the most intelligent, right? Who have the most gifts and abilities, who actually feel like they're imposters and doubt themselves. Because when you're that bright, you know what you don't know. I was listening to a webinar today, and a business webinar, and the teacher was saying that when somebody's just beginning to learn something, their confidence is higher, or at least their optimism is higher, because they don't know what they don't know yet. They're learning things, and their reaction is, wow, that's cool, that's really neat, wow, that'd be great, okay, I could do that. It hasn't sunk into them that perhaps the subject or topic that they're learning is so huge that any doubt would come up that they could really master it, which is a good thing, okay? It's a good thing. You don't want to start doubting yourself that you can't learn this in the beginning. However, when somebody's been studying something and practicing it for a long time, many years, they become very aware that, right, there's just more to this, or maybe that there are other people who are practicing it as well. Maybe they start to compare and think, well, maybe they're better than I am, and all of those things start kind of affecting persons. So imposter syndrome is rampant in any industry, but it's especially talked about in the business community, where there's such an emphasis on performance, right, on being successful and building your business, and you need to be confident. And imposter syndrome is, it's discussed all over the place. There's support groups for it. I had to laugh. I've seen support groups. Well, it's not really funny, but to me it's funny because you can clear it. That's what's funny to me, okay? But there's support groups where they talk about, join our support group and we'll help you manage your imposter syndrome, okay? Manage it like it's a condition, right? Like it's going to AA, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous or something. We'll help you manage your addiction. We'll help you manage your imposter syndrome. Why not just get rid of it? Okay, it's because they don't know how to get rid of it. But we're going to get rid of it, okay, this month. So can you imagine if you kicked that to the curb and you just knew your worth, your value, and you didn't doubt that you weren't an expert in what you're choosing to do? Because I have news for you, the people that think they're experts, they probably really aren't. You know, they don't know everything. Nobody does know everything. That's what you don't know, what you don't understand. Nobody out there knows everything, and you don't need to, because you can connect with divine mind. You can get the download of what you need to know. That's a whole other workshop or course or attunement for sure of getting the download of what you need to know. Okay, so now related to this, we talked about distortions, and related to that, you might be able to see that when it comes to money, you have many distortions about money. Many, right? We talked about it in the last webinar about like the distorted belief that money is the root of all evil, right? We talked about that. And some people have other beliefs like money doesn't grow on trees. Well, actually it does. I don't mean literally, I just mean figuratively, that money is abundant. So when somebody tells you it doesn't grow on trees, they're actually lying. But you believe that, right? You believe like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. Meaning, okay, money is hard to get. It's not everywhere. It's not freely available. That is a lie. But if you believe that, you have a distortion. So, got that? So the other one we talked about was rich people are bad, like wealthy people are bad. I mean, how many movies have you seen where the characters who are rich or wealthy are portrayed in a rather negative way? Are they portrayed often in a positive light? No, right? Usually not. It's the plucky hero or heroine who usually doesn't have much money or many resources, who's the hero of the day. It's not the people who are multimillionaires that are the hero. So what is the subconscious message that we're getting? It's that rich people have it made. They have it easy. They don't have to strive. And oftentimes they came by their money easily. Maybe they inherited it. Whereas again, the hero or the heroine, it's another story. They have to work for it. Understand that that's just a story. That's just a story, but stories are so powerful and they get embedded in our consciousness, and we believe that that's true. Subconsciously, we believe that it's more heroic to come from nothing and struggle and maybe not even make money the goal. Maybe making some other altruistic goal be our objective, but it's not usually in our movies and books and things that we. It's not about, oh, the hero is seeking to make a lot of money. If he is, it's probably for a good cause, right? It's maybe to benefit humanity or his family who's suffering or struggling. But it's not just to get money just so he can enjoy the money. Do you ever see a story about that? No. So what does that tell you also, right? That means you don't have any models in your consciousness, in your awareness of what it's like to be spiritual and be financially abundant. You don't. Even in the spiritual community, the people who are prosperous, who've made a lot of money, are often, put down or criticized or judged for being obsessed with money. And maybe they are, maybe they're not, who's to say. But there again, our society is so dysfunctional that we believe that if somebody is doing work that is for the greater good, that is spiritual, right? That is to help humanity, that those people should make the least amount of money. And that's why our priests, struggle and have no money, but we throw coins and $20 and $100 bills to strippers, or to our basketball players or football players. But people who are healers, are supposed to just work for free. So we're very distorted in our thinking about spirituality and money, both. And certainly when you try to put them together, they're very conflicted. So this is a really deep topic, and it takes more than one clearing of distortions to do it. So in the Academy, we'll probably do this periodically, because it's a big one. And if you clear your distortions about money, because it's also, again, connected to your heart chakra, your solar plexus chakra, which is your power, right, and your throat chakra, which is your self-expression. Because it's connected to those three chakras, when you heal your money issues, those three chakras get stronger. Your personal power gets stronger. And we're not talking about force, we're talking about really your spiritual power, okay? So those chakras get stronger. The other ones will be strong as well, but those ones will be really your foundation for your ability to manifest. So your life can really change just by focusing on that, focusing on clearing those money distortions, or working on the throat, the heart, and the solar plexus chakras, which we will do in the Academy. So now you think you understand what distortions are, you understand what the problem is, why they need to be cleared. So how is it that I can help you clear them? I just want to make it really clear to you that there are other ways to clear those beliefs. There are other ways. They can take longer. They can be a little more convoluted. People can, like me, have a near-death experience and get that blank slated, if you will, and that's one way. But I wouldn't necessarily say, hey, go and create a near-death experience. That's not the way. If it happens, it happens, but don't go looking for it. And there's other things like, and I'm not an expert in these things, although I have studied some, past life regression, neurolinguistic programming, all manner of things. And just people sometimes just working really hard on themselves. I mean, you can have a shift that you create on your own. My near-death experience was created from my getting obsessed with channeling and doing that intensely for 5 months, every day, literally every day for 5 months. Something that probably I would suspect hardly anybody has ever done. I don't know why I did it, but I was that caught up in the experience of it. It was so amazing to me that I just stuck with it for 5 months, and so I had this major awakening in which I changed. I changed in all ways, and I was kind of out of it for a year. So I don't recommend that path. I do not recommend that you push the envelope, and because it's just not easy and it's not necessary. And when I came out the other end of that, I made a promise to my guides, to God, to the universe, that if I got through this, then I would dedicate my life to help other people open up in a safer way, in an easier way. That journey for me was amazing, but it wasn't easy. It was the hardest thing I ever did, but I had a lot of support. I manifested that support. And that's why I know how manifestation works, because I had lost everything, but my saving grace was in having lost everything, having been kind of blank slated as I was, I didn't have any fear. That was the crazy part. I couldn't work. Lost most of my friends, except for one or two. Made some new friends, but lost most of my other friends who thought I was a witch, who thought it was kind of crazy, and maybe I was. So I didn't have money, but the universe supported me. Again, because I wasn't afraid. I just surrendered to it. Didn't really think about it. I just had to. So, okay, I'll surrender to it. This is what's happening. And because this is happening, I'll just see how it goes. And because I wasn't offering any conflicting emotion, I wasn't in panic, I wasn't in fear, I wasn't in worry, I just was in total surrender, things just showed up. Things like an ex-boyfriend who called me up and said, hey, I heard what just happened to you from a mutual friend, and I want to support you. And I said, well, that would be very nice. What do you mean? What do you mean support? He said, well, I'd like to give you $1,000 a month if you think that that will help you. And I said, are you kidding? Back in 1987, that would be a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. But back then, that was a lot of money. And because I was able to live rent-free in my parents' house, because they had moved out, that money and money that I also made when people approached me to teach them out of the blue. I had students who paid me. I didn't know what I was going to teach them, but apparently I was there to teach them. So I started teaching them and coaching them from the very beginning, and I supported myself doing channeling, doing the work I was already doing. But I didn't push that. I didn't force that to happen. I didn't sit there without making a vision board or doing affirmations. I just surrendered to the experience. And I wasn't distorted about life the way I had been. Okay, so I know that that's the way. I knew that back then. And from this point on, I really want to help you folks learn that if you're ready, because this is the time to do it right now on the planet. It's just easier for you. It's just going to be easier for you than it was for me. It's just how it is to be, okay? And the energies are different. So everything's speeded up, and you can clear more things than you could before, and you can therefore step into being who you really are in an easier, more powerful way, and your life can change. Okay? I want that for you if that's what you want. And if that's not what you want, then it's okay. Then I'd say, why are you here? But if you want your life to change, if you want things to improve and get better, then, stick around. Join the academy, or at least stay in the free group, the free Facebook group for a while. Although I can't imagine that anybody can't afford way less than $1 a day to be in the academy. Okay, that is why I created it, and that's why I've made it affordable. It will always be affordable. I just want to help as many people as possible. That's what I was told by my spirit team to do, and I usually follow their directions as best I can. Not always, but usually. So let's get on to clearing some distortions. We as I said, we dipped into it the last webinar. We're going to kind of dive back into that again. And I don't know how many of you were on that call. I mean, it's still in the Facebook group, the webinar, so you can go back and look at it. But we're going to go into some other distortions, and these are statements. And again, just like in the first call, I want you to feel whatever you feel when I make this statement. What does your body tell you? Because it will respond. It will, because right now, if you're in agreement, okay, we're going to help it along or kind of make it respond, okay? You can set the intention. My body's going to let me know if I have this distortion, if I believe this is true. And don't worry if you're not sure. If you're a person that says, well, I don't feel things, you know, I can't tell. It's okay. We're going to clear it anyway, right? We're going to clear that distortion anyway. So if you don't have it, no worries. If you do have it, we're going to either get rid of it completely or at least weaken and diminish its intensity, okay? Really soften its influence so that it's not running as strongly and not loudly broadcasting through your energy field, which is what you create from. Now, do you guys understand when I say you create from your energy field? Because I think I got the message today that some of you do understand, some of you don't. But your energy field has all these beliefs, emotions, it changes all the time. But the basis of it, the foundation of it, which is your beliefs, you know, your chronic beliefs, your habits of thought, you know, those are there. And the ones that are subconscious are really stuck in there. So it creates a unique vibrational frequency that is you alone, okay, that is you uniquely, yeah, that nobody else has but you. And so you have your own tone, you have your own feeling, you have, you know, and that signature vibration is being broadcasted to the universe 24/7, and the universe always responds. Now, in manifestation, law of attraction, people talk about how they, how can I say it, that they draw things to them. And you could say that, but I also like you to start thinking of it this way, that you're creating it. It's not a passive experience, in other words. You just sit there and it just happens to you. It looks like it is because you're not like seemingly doing anything, but you actually are doing something. You're taking action in certain ways, and then you're not taking action in other ways. You have to look at, what am I doing? Who am I reaching out to? Who am I not reaching out to? What do I feel inspired to do? Or maybe I don't feel inspired to do anything, or to get in or engage with that person or go to that place. All of that, you are responding to the universe. You are creating your experience as you go. This is not something that you pre-plan and you analyze and think about. You're just living your life and responding accordingly, depending upon what's going on. And in that moment, what you're feeling, again, guided to do, or inspired to do. So you are creators. You know, you are creating everything that you experience, down everything. There's not one thing that happens to you that you didn't create. And life doesn't really happen to you anyway. Life is created by you. And so once you get that, you can relax when something unwanted happens and realize, okay, I'm just getting feedback that this is not what I want. Okay, now I'm clear of what I do want. And so you don't freak out about it. You don't lose it. You just say, okay, made a little adjustment here because that's not really what I want. And once you understand that, life can become more of a game that it was meant to be. Because it is a game, and you can more enjoy it. All right, so I want you to just relax as I say these statements about money distortions. Okay, we're going to continue where we left off in the Solar Prosperity webinar. How about this statement if I say it? Just see how your body reacts, or maybe what comes into your mind, or maybe what you see clairvoyantly. Some of you are very visual. Just what is your first response when you hear these words? And if you like, you could even say it aloud, which is best, or at least silently if you're somewhere where you can't speak aloud because other people are there. But either way, just notice whatever comes up. Okay. So the first statement is, being rich makes life complicated and difficult. Being rich makes life complicated and difficult. If you react to that, it could be a past life where you were rich and life was difficult. It wasn't an easy, joyous experience. We assume that having a lot of money would make life easier for people, but it's not always that way. There are other factors involved. For some people, they may have felt that it was a curse. Maybe that money tore their family apart. You know, right? People fighting over it and relationships getting strained. And so if you resonate with that one, I'm just going to clear it. And if you do resonate with that one, just write in the chat. Just put like a number 1 in the chat, just for that. That means yes. Put number 1 in the chat. Like, oh yeah, that, I'll take that. I have that distortion. Maybe nobody has it. Okay. Or maybe you're not sure if you have it. So if you're not sure you have it or you think you have it, we're going to clear it. Just take a deep breath. We're just going to go. Just clearing it from your past lives, parallel lives, your ancestral lineage, physical body. Now, I'm just going to describe to you what I'm doing, just so you understand more of this process, because I know I don't think I have explained it. So, and the energy is just clearing. So when I do my healing work, I'm really working with the spirit world. So I have been reluctant to call myself a shaman because I know that I wouldn't really say I was, but I've recently had 2 different healers tell me, well, you know you're a shaman, don't you? And essentially a shaman works with the spirit world, right? And you can't declare yourself a shaman because really it's the spirits that decide. It's not us. And so I was reluctant to call myself that, but at the same time, I been aware since the start of my journey that spirit was working through me, and not just through channeling, although that clearly is part of it, but literally working around me and through me, because people would say they'd feel things, they'd feel me working on them. Even though I was standing and then like on one side of them, they could feel I was doing something behind them, like to their back or something. And really it was spirit, the spirits that work around or through me. And I didn't understand that at the time until a psychic would tell me that. Say, I can feel you working on my heart chakra, or I can feel you working on my back, or I can feel you doing this. And my conscious self had no clue. But my higher self was doing that, was working on the person. So the attunements that I've given you, that I will give today, are conveyed from spirit through me. And that's why they had given me this vision of me activating people and having this force, this spirit. I don't even want to say, that even seems too narrow a definition. But this energy, this consciousness come through to heal and activate people. Okay, but it was so intense for me and so strange that it just freaked me out. You know, it wasn't like I was possessed, but it was, I could feel the being come through me, come through this tunnel and pass through me and come into me. And then we were blended and connecting and healing people. Basically, That's what's happening, basically. So it's not just me working on you, it's me and spirit working on you in tandem with your own spirit team, which is activated through mutual consent of your higher self, of your soul. If you didn't want this healing, this experience, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. And if you change your mind and you say, I don't want this healing, you won't get it. It'll just bounce off of you because it's programmed to be according to what you truly want. You know, what your soul wants for you. Not what I want for you, but what you want for you. And if it's not in agreement with you, it'll just be deflected. So you're always in control. Okay, so that one feels like that was easy to clear. We're going to go on to this next statement. I don't deserve to be rich. I don't deserve to be rich. This has to do with deservability. Do you have the belief that you deserve to be rich? Because that would be the next statement. I do deserve to be rich. You have to feel deserving of the money, deserving of the things that you want. If you don't feel you deserve it, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter how you affirm, you won't receive it because you don't believe in your heart that you deserve it for whatever reason. So can anyone identify with that real quickly? Can you hit 1 in the chat if you do? Because if I say the words, I deserve to be rich, you should feel kind of an uplifting feeling, which means that it's your truth. Right? If you don't, if it feels like, I don't deserve to be rich, yeah, that's true. If you feel that's true, you'll feel a little sinking. Okay, so yeah, this is when more of you will feel this deservability. You could have a broader distortion about deserving many things, right? That I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be successful. I don't deserve attention. Like, on and on and on. So many things. So deserving, feeling you deserve. And what does deserve mean anyway? I've always kind of wondered when people say, oh yeah, you deserve that. And I go, I'm thinking, well, doesn't everybody deserve the good things in life? Is this something that you're supposed to earn? That you have to be worthy of? Because you were born worthy. This idea that you're not worthy comes from the ego that's judging. From God's perspective, you were born worthy, you were born perfect, and even when you make mistakes, even if they're terrible mistakes, you're still worthy, you're still deserving. Okay, so we're going to really knock this one down because it's a big one for a lot of you, and some of you resonate with this, but you're not commenting in the chat, and that's fine. So we're going to get rid of this, okay, this deserving. So let's take a deep breath, and we're going to clear this from your past life. Many of you have had, oh yeah, I'm seeing many of you have had past lives where this was a theme. Almost like many of you felt you had to be a martyr. Like, if I just sacrifice, I have to just sacrifice. And, no, I'm not worthy. You have to be humble. And all this really messed up thinking about what spirituality was or is just, yeah, let's just clear that. So many of you have that in your ancestral lineage, so we're going to clear that. Also clearing that from parallel lives, which many of you are living in actually right now, where these issues are playing out. Yes, you live in other realities, other timelines, if you will, whatever you want to call them, because you're multidimensional. So you don't just live in this body right here, right now. Don't have to think too much about it. I don't want you to go down that rabbit hole, go and dive into this brain candy, because it's not necessary. Just understand that you are in other places, okay, or non-physical locations. because you are God, and God can be everywhere, and so can you. So we're going to clear that pattern from all levels of your experience, not just in this reality, but any and all other realities in which you are coexisting and creating right now, clearing them all from your physical body, from your aura, from your chakras. And as this clears out, it's going to keep clearing out. I'm going to download you with what it feels like to know and believe and to feel that you deserve to be rich. Not only that, that you deserve anything that you desire or want. Nothing is off limits to you. Nothing. You deserve simply because you exist, simply because you are God incarnate, and so is everyone else. You're not better than anyone else. You're like everyone else because they're God like you. Okay? But you deserve everything and anything. You deserve it all just because you're alive, just because you are you. So we download you that. I want to see that as an attunement going into your crown chakra, filling your body, filling you up, filling with this knowing, so that you can create this experience and live it in your life. It's not just a concept, that you really get it to the core of your being, that you're worthy, that you deserve, that you are powerful, that you are loved. You are loved not in spite of your imperfections, but even because of your imperfections. Because of everything. There is nothing that you could do or be that would cast you out of God's love. Nothing ever. Therefore, that could limit your prosperity, your joy, your happiness, your health, your power. Nothing except what you create to distance yourself from all of that. There's no external force that takes over or is exerting any influence on you. It's all self-created, all of it. So we're going to clear that up. Just clear, 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 release, release, release. And bring that attunement in really strong, filling up your entire body. I'm seeing you filled with light, filled with love, filled with truth, so that you know your divinity, you can feel it, and therefore you can live it, and letting that overflow into your energy field so that it stays in your energy field. Okay. Take a deep breath in, integrate that. And I want to follow up this with this statement and tell me how it resonates with you. The statement is, I can have it all. I can have it all. Do you feel an uplifting? Do you feel a little shift up? Or does it make you kind of shrink down a little bit? Because it should make you feel uplifted. Even if it's just subtle. Okay. Okay, it's a small uplift. Good. It's very subtle. We're not talking about dramatic, like, whew. It's just subtle, like a slight raising up of energy. That's your GPS, your God positioning system. I also want you to try out this statement, okay, that hopefully you'll feel your body respond and with that uplifting feeling again. So here's the statement. It's safe for me to be rich. It's safe for me to be rich. And even if you don't feel this uplifting feeling, okay, as long as you don't feel this collapsing of energy, like somebody just placed their hands on your shoulders and pushed you down a little bit. As long as you don't feel this collapse of energy, you're fine. If it just feels neutral, that's fine. The other statement is, it's easy for me to be rich. It's easy. It's easy to be rich. Not sure. Not sure. Okay, let's just clear that. Mostly I think what you need is a download of that. Because what's tied into that is some judgments you have about people who are rich, which then, yeah, it's complicated. So let's ask the universe this question, because the universe will always answer us. So if we ask the universe, what would it be like if it was easy for me to be rich? What would it look like if it was easy for me to be rich? What would it feel like if it was easy for me to be rich? When you ask those open-ended questions, the universe answers you. So pay attention. So if you keep asking those questions, what would it look like? What would it feel like? What would it be like? Any of those questions or all of it attached to rich, or what would it be like to be successful? What would it feel like to be happy? What would it be like to stop smoking if you can't stop smoking? That kind of thing. The universe always says, well, here you go. That's what you want. Here you go. Let me show you. Okay, that's what I mean when I say we live in an interactive universe. So the questions you ask, right? The questions you ask prompt the answer that you get. You always get an answer. Always. So what about, it's possible for me to be rich? I mean, if it's not easy for you to be rich, you at least like to believe that it's possible for you. I mean, ideally, you'd like it to be easy. But if it's not easy, can you at least lean into it's possible for me to be rich? I think most of you can deal into that. That feels like okay, so. All right, so here's another statement that is kind of a loaded statement. It's wrong to want money. It's wrong to money. Or another way to put it would be, it's wrong to seek money, like go looking for it. But really, it's about it's wrong to want it. Say, I want money. Just want it. Clear that. I don't think that's a heavy one for a lot of you. Okay. Now, how about this one? Because remember, money is about power. It's about the solar plexus chakra. Money represents power. That's why people who have a lot of money are generous, because they feel they come from a place of plenty, so they can be generous, and it's coming from power when you can give. If you don't have anything to give, you feel and you are disempowered, right? If you don't have any extra to share and you're barely getting by, you know you're not in a place of power. You're in a place of weakness. You're not in a place of strength. I mean, at the very best you could do would be in a place of neutrality, where maybe you're just getting by, but you don't have extra. So it's only when you have extra that you can really reach out and serve and help other people, and therefore you feel power. You feel the force of the universe moving through you, because you can give and you receive, and you give and receive, right? That flow, which is how the universe is meant to work. If you're distorted, there's no flow. It's like you can't give because you don't seem to be able to create and therefore receive what you need. So you're really stuck and you feel disempowered. So I want you to say this statement to yourself: I misuse my power. I misuse my power. And notice I'm saying it in the present tense, because if you have misused your power in the past, in past lives, or through your ancestors have done that, it still lives on now, and it's a present statement. It's everything's in the now anyway. So you misuse your power now because you misused it before, and that the past is still active in your vibration. You misuse it now. You might not see the misuse of it, blatantly in your life, but there's that belief operating there. Can anyone relate to that, of misusing your power? Because therefore you'd be afraid to step into your power, because you think you're going to abuse it again, that you're going to hurt somebody, or hurt yourself even, right? Because guess what? We've all lived past lives where we abused our power. All of us. Every single one of us, 100% of us, because we came here to have those experiences, to both be the victim and the abuser, to abuse our power and be the victim of somebody using their power against us. We came here to experience all of it, the good, the bad, and the in-between. I mean, all of it, okay? So yes, we've all misused power. And yes, we all need a healing around the abuse and misuse of our power. That we were abused and we abused others. It's all goes together. So, right, so several of you identify with that. So I'm just getting sleepy on that one. So yeah, that means that's one you really resonate with. Yeah, if anybody's new to these healings, if you start getting sleepy while you're listening to me, that means you're getting a healing. That means your consciousness, your higher self, whatever you want to say it is, you are receiving a healing because that's what you need. If you don't get sleepy, if you're just fine, it just means, oh, I don't need that. I'm fine. That you're doing okay. Okay, it's a 10 on a scale of 10. Uh-oh. Okay, well, let's clear that one. Okay, abuse of power. So clearing that from all your past lives. For many of you, that's many, many past lives. Clearing it all, clearing it from your ancestral lineage, clearing it from your parallel lifetimes, clearing it from your physical body, clearing it from every cell, every organ. You're clearing from your energy field, your aura, your chakras. Cutting cords of this to wherever this pattern, this belief of abuse exists in the entire universe, any planet, any dimension, any level of reality, clearing it all, clear, 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 release, release, release. Yes, power issues are big issues for most of us. It's one of the main things we came here to learn, and we're still learning, even now, every day. Every day, we're either, exerting our power in a positive way, or having power demonstrated against us in a positive or a negative way. I mean, really, it's all power. Control, will. So clearing it all, clearing, release, release, release. Oh, that's heavy for a lot of you. Cynthia says she's getting a headache. We'll just try to ease that headache. I do feel pressure around my head. I'm holding the space for everybody, so yeah. Okay. Let's clear that, clear that, clear that. And then we're going to ask our spirit teams to download us with God's definition and perspective of power. Okay, what is the true definition of power? Because it's not man's definition of power. What is God's definition of power? And what that looks like and feels like? What is that experience like? To be the embodiment of God's definition of power, which isn't force. And that power is really the knowing that you have, that you are God, that you are being the God that you are in your life. And so you can you will appropriately, because there will be times when you need to be forceful. As many of you know, I've been listening to Conversations with God, and that's one of the things God was saying to Neil Donald Walsh, is that there are times when it may be the appropriate action to use force. Not always, of course, but would you use force to defend the innocent? If someone's life was being threatened and you were able to use force, if you had a gun, even if you abhor violence, would you just be passive and let someone innocent be killed? Those are hard questions. But from God's perspective, whatever you choose, He's okay with. She's fine with. Not that she celebrates it, but she says you have free will, you have free choice, you're here to choose. There's no judgment. There's no judgment. So using your power, if done appropriately, it could mean an act of violence in order to save someone who's innocent. Okay, so it's not that as simple as just being nonviolent and never, ever, ever harm anybody under any circumstance. It's not as black and white as that. Okay, so really downloading you with God's perspective and definition of power, feeling that energy if you haven't already felt it, coming through your crown chakra, filling your body, filling you up. Because once you really know your power and that your will is aligned with God's will, you will be able to manifest more easily for your highest good. Will you be able to just manifest wherever you want? Probably. But you'll probably be, if you're more aligned with God's will, it will more likely be that you manifest what you can feel in your heart and in your being is best for you and everyone else. Because it's not about just getting stuff, just getting piles of stuff, right? Just being able to buy whatever you want and and acquire and have lots of toys, expensive toys and fancy car. It's not about that. Not that you can't have it. Of course you can. You can have whatever you want. But you want to feel connected. You want to feel fulfilled. That connection to source, to the God that you are, is really what you're hungering for. And as I'm saying it, I feel the energy come in, the chills come in, because this is the truth. That's your ultimate high, is this connection to who you are, which is God, which is source. This is what I suggest you become addicted to, because it will take you further in life. And then you can get the toys and all the things that you want, but they won't have that much meaning for you, because you know it's not about that. That's just the extra stuff. So, okay, so take a deep breath in and integrate that. And so lastly, I want to really download you with this, really attune you to this truth, because it is true. And that is that there is enough money in the world for everyone. There's enough money in the world for everyone, including you, of course, and me. Because really there's enough of everything in the world. So we're going to kick this scarcity consciousness to the curb as best we can, because that's a lie. Scarcity is a lie. Kind of drummed up by some marketing person. That's a big thing in marketing, by the way, right? Like scarcity, like there's only so many of these that you can buy. Once they're gone, they're gone. And so, you know, if you don't act now and buy it, you're going to miss out. So that whole fear of missing out is a big motivating force in marketing. But really, there's plenty of everything. Everything. And there's plenty of money, there's plenty of abundance of resources. So we're just going to attune you to that truth. Let that go through your crown chakra, go down to the core of your being, let that fill you up, let that energy, let that light infuse the cells of your body, upgrade, rejuvenate, restore you. And as it comes in, for some of you, it's shifting out, helping you release some other energies and beliefs that don't really resonate anymore. These are little, yeah, they're not serious, heavy beliefs that are holding you back. They're just little extraneous ones. We're just gonna shift that, let that leave easily. But yes, there's more than enough of everything in the world, because the universe is abundant. And money does grow on trees. Grows on trees, it grows in the ocean, it grows in the air, it grows everywhere. It's just, and of course I'm meaning symbolically, abundance is everywhere. Because you were born from that source of abundance. Okay, so we're did a lot of work, passed a lot of attunement. So I'm just gonna work on you to integrate that. So some of you might get really tired after all this, because I hit you with a lot. Those of you who have been following me with these webinars from the beginning of the year when I started, wow, I can't believe we're in September, so now we're on the 9th month. So I've done at least one free webinar, a lot of times more. This past week, done a lot, because of launching the Academy and giving everyone a taste of what that is. But remember when I first started and I would do 2 attunements in one session, and a lot of you were like wiped out, like whoa, that was too much, and even I was wiped out. I mean, to be honest with you, I actually am a little wiped out from doing all the healings I've been doing since last week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and now today. but it's good. It's fine. But you shift a lot of energy, and yeah, your body needs time to process it. Okay, your body is dense, so it takes longer time to adjust. It's just how it is. So Rosie says, I slipped through some of it, even had a dream or vision. I'm not sure. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that can happen. You just went off on a journey. So I'm just trying to tell you that some of you, this might be rather intense for you. It's nothing bad. You just might need to rest. You drink plenty of water. Ask your spirit team to help you integrate this. If you are someone who says, well, I don't know who my spirit team is, what is that anyway? Everyone has spirit helpers in their space around them. You've had them your whole life. You've had them in previous lives. You've always had spiritual assistance available to you. All you have to do is ask for help. If you feel more comfortable, ask your angels to help you. Ask them to help you integrate this, help you to balance your energy, or guide you in as to how you can help yourself. They'll either directly help you or they'll guide you to what you need to do. So you just pay attention to what comes, what happens, what ideas pop into your mind. Know that nothing happens by accident. Nothing. There are no accidents in our universe. Okay, zero accidents. So yeah, some things seem to be random, but even those things were chosen on some level, and we manifested it. Okay, and it's all good, even if it doesn't look good or doesn't feel good. It's all there for our growth. Okay, all there for our evolution. You didn't come here to have everything go your way. That would have been boring. That's how it's like on the other side, where everything is easy, effortless. You just think of something, it's there. It's all oneness. There's no cold when there is hot. There's no, right? There's no polarity. There's no duality. It's all one. And I know right now, when you look at the world, you long for that oneness, but you can achieve it within yourself without looking outside and wanting that all to be oneness. Seek it within yourself. And then the outer reality experience will change. Any questions about what you experienced? Anything anybody want to share? Anybody having any problem? I know, Sandra, you said you were rear-ended, if I remember correctly. Are you feeling better? And if not, I'm just going to send you some healing. I'll send you healing anyway. And if anybody else is having any especially physical issues, I'm just going to send healing. I feel it's not just for pain. Oh, good, you had a massage, that helped. So not just for pain, but just to alleviate shock, because I'm getting like shock, like the system was shocked. So calming the central nervous system and just helping your body to heal itself, because I see that it's already on its way to healing itself from the accident. Just just sending healing to all of you to integrate the healing. Okay, so Cynthia says she needs healing for her hips and knees. Okay. So Sandra says, my forehead and third eye got intensified from the accident along with the attunements. So are you saying you just feel more pressure there right now? So hurting some, okay. So, Sandra, as far as the pressure goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most extreme, what level of pressure do you experience? Sometimes an 8? Okay. If anybody else watching or listening to this has pain, besides Cynthia as well, um, just sending healing for that pain. And since both Cynthia and Sandra, since you're both in the academy, I recommend you, if you haven't done so already, that you go watch the Angels of Manifestation Masterclass, and in which I guide you to as to how to work with your spirit team to heal yourself. And then just start doing that on a daily basis until you experience improvement, or for as long as you want to. But how is your pain now? What level of pain do you have now? And anybody else who's on the call who's not in the academy, that's one of the things that in there, it's a master class on working with spirits, down to a 3. Okay, great. I feel it would go down at least to a 2. That's what I was seeing. That's what I was aiming for, going down to a 2 at least. And hopefully in another day or so, down to 0. I'm drink a lot of water, and what else? And be sure you're grounded. Be sure you're well grounded. And again, in the academy, I have the I Am Grounded webinar. So if grounding is an issue, you don't even have to watch the whole webinar. Just turn the webinar on, have it playing softly, like on your computer or on your phone or whatever. You probably have to download if you want to download the audio, you have to have it on your phone. You have to download it to your computer first if you have an iPhone. Okay, she said, yes, I did it after last webinar. You did grounding? Okay, so good. All right. So yeah, grounding, really important for healing. And just if people are spacey or you're too, out of it. So really in the academy, I have pretty much all my attunements and webinars, and I have more coming, and they're available. In fact, I think in very quickly, we're going to have so much content. I'm going to figure out how to organize it better for everybody, but there's not going to be a lack of content in there. I don't want people to get overwhelmed. So if you do decide to join us in the academy, just know that, there's a lot to choose from. You can always ask for direction in there. I have suggestions of where to start, but I always tell people to trust your intuition is where you're guided to go. An experience, and every month there's more that we're doing. In fact, Thursday we're starting off our first session of what I call the healing hot seat, where I'm going to choose one person. So Sandra says, I was so spacey after the last live and it worked fast. You mean the grounding webinar worked fast? Great, great. Yeah, because on this spiritual journey, by the way, folks, you will at times get very spacey. That just happens because your vibration is raising, and then you kind of get a lot of it to integrate it. That's why I did that grounding webinar to help people just ground. As I explained in the last webinar, I was inspired to do that because a student of mine, who's now herself a spiritual healer and teacher, she had great difficulty all her life being grounded. So I knew that if I could help her ground, I could help anybody ground. and so Spirit and I created that webinar and that attunement, and that does work. So yes, so in the Academy you have access to all that. And you can just download it to your phone, because there will be audio. Usually there will be audio and the video. So you can either watch it or you can download it to your phone to listen to it. Because obviously you don't need to watch me to experience the attunement or to get a healing. And the only content in the Academy that doesn't have audio right now is the Angel Intuitive Practitioner Training. Because they're just so long, we haven't edited the audio yet, but we do plan to upload the audio. That was like 7 hours of audio for that training. So, okay, good. So I'm glad the pain level's down. And I know you see, this is why I like having the Academy, because I can say, you got a problem, go check out the Academy. By the way, those attunements, I think most of them are available on my website if you just want to buy it. But here's the crazy part, people. The attunement costs more than being a member. You know, and you're going to get the attunement if you join as a member to the Academy. So, you know, you decide. But if you would like the attunement or the healing, most of what I offer, not all of it, most is on my website right now, which is soulauthority.com, S-O-U-L, soulauthority.com. Also, if you go to my website, you'll see right there the page for the Academy. If you look on events, the Academy is there. You can sign up to join us. So, well, hold on a minute. Let me see. Oops, sorry. Just trying to see if I can do something here. Hold on. Okay, let's see if this works. Oops, sorry. Hold on. Okay, I'm not sure if this link works. It might not. I posted a link. I don't know if it'll go to, if anybody wants to try it. I think it will go to the registration page for the Academy. Because we close our doors tonight at midnight, Hawaii time. And I wouldn't like anyone to miss out if they had wanted to be part of it. Again, you get a free 3-day trial. Your credit card will not be charged unless you go beyond the 3 days, so you can cancel. You have no excuse not to jump on in there and experience something and see how it helps you, if you haven't experienced it already on this webinar. Okay, but any questions? Anybody have a question? Or a need? Anybody else have a problem? Health issue? By the way, I will be doing more Facebook Lives, but there will be more lives on my business page rather than in the Facebook group. Not that I won't do it in the Angel Facebook group. I will, but it'll be much less in there and more on my business page, which you can still access. So, and I'll let you guys know in the group, like, so you just say, head over to my business page and I'll tell you what time I'm going to be on there. So I'm planning to really increase the amount of lives that I do on my business page and also in the Soul Authority Academy Facebook group, which is a private group just for members. So I'll do more there. My goal is to try to do one a week, just to keep everyone kind of hooked into the healing energy so that they get support and they're able to shift what they need and want to shift. So yeah, so lots of good things happening. What is the business page? Well, my Facebook business page, right now it says, because I'm trying to change my business page name, but right now it says Pamela Johnson, Abundance and Intuition. Okay. And you can go there. And I'll put a link in the group too, especially when I do the Facebook Lives in there. And I will be doing lives on Instagram. So yeah, I'm doing more lives. I see you guys have seemed to have been giving me a lot of positive feedback about the lives. I mean, I like the webinars too. It's just different. I think some of you do like the webinars also because you can interact with each other, which is hard to do on a live. But there's something different energetically about the live. Like, I don't know, it's strange, even though this is live. And so I wanted to see what happens to go live, because this is on the business page and on Instagram, of course, that's to the world. That's to the public. It's not necessarily just a warm and fuzzy group like you guys are. And that's why, if possible, I want to invite all of you to join me there. So it'd be good to have friends on the live when people come on, inevitably, who are going to be, act a bit troll-like, right? Like start making snarky comments or something. It's just got to become immune to those things, and I will. That doesn't bother me. But yeah, so I will let you guys know in the group when I'm going live on that business page or on Instagram. And I hope you show up. Okay, hope you show up. And the other cool thing about doing it on the business page is when I do those lives is you can share that. You can share that healing. Right now you can't do that. You can't share, right? But if it's a Facebook Live that I do in my business group, you can share that with your friends. You can share that everywhere. I hope you will, in fact, so you can share the healing and help people get clear, help people improve their lives, right? So that's the other reason to do it. Is there a sign up for Instagram? Well, if you're on Instagram and you're following me on Instagram, you'll see it. And of course, I'll let you guys know also that, hey, I'm going to be on Instagram, right? I'll give a shout out. So all you have to do is look for me on Instagram. You're not on it. Okay, Sandra, then if you want to be on Instagram, you just have to sign up for Instagram through your phone. So Instagram, if you don't know it, Sandra, and for a few of you who don't know it, is really a phone app, okay? It's a phone thing. So you interact on the phone and you post through your phone. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do some of it on the computer, but it's not really meant to be used on a computer except for some basic, I'd say almost administrative things. But so you go on your phone and you find the Instagram app for your phone and you sign up for Instagram and you can do a search for me. I'm under Pam Johnson 808 on Instagram, Pam Johnson 808, and just follow me and you'll get. But I will, like I said, post notice that I'm going to be on Instagram. You guys can jump on there. Okay, that'll be fun. So the Instagram lives are only posted for 24 hours. I am looking into being on IGTV, Instagram TV. I just haven't set that up yet. But yeah, more plans for doing lives to reach more people, help more people. And so yeah, I'd love for you guys to join in, experience that. So, all right, so what time is it? Oh my, hour and a half, that was long. Okay, so, all right, if you don't have any questions, I just want to thank you for joining me. And if anybody decides they want to join the Academy, please do so before midnight tonight. Next time we launch, the price will go up a little bit, okay? And, oh, Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, Sandra. I don't know. And that's really not, that's not a platform for me. I'm on YouTube. I am on YouTube. So my presence is more, really about more engaging, like visually with people, not so much Twitter, right? So Rosie, oh, thank you, Rosie. And Carol Ann, oh, thank you for saying it's a wonderful webinar. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But Let me see. Jill, did you have something you wanted to say, or Ash? Because I see you have your hand up. I'm not sure. If you want to write in the chat room, I don't know if you're on a phone. No, okay. Well, here, I'm going to allow you to talk. Do you want to talk, Jill? I'm unmuted you, but you look like you're, okay. Nope. Okay, maybe she didn't. All right. Okay, maybe that was by accident. So we went long, and I don't want to keep you guys because it is long. But if you guys have to leave, leave. But actually, my friend Ken is on the call, and I talked to Ken, messaged Ken by email earlier, asking if he wanted to share his experiences with these attunements and things. And I thought you might find it interesting because I've actually known Ken for a long time. I mean, it's been, Ken, I think it's been 32 years. I mean, my God, it's been that long. But so he knew me when I opened up. In fact, he was there when I kind of went through this, mind-blowing awakening. So I thought if some of you want to hang around and listen to what our stories of what that was about, I'm going to unmute him. I'm going to, okay, Ken, you're there.
Am I?
You're on. I hear you.
Okay, great. Oh, wonderful session today. And I really love this little community because I don't know if you folks realize it, but even if you're not participating verbally or chatting, it is creating a field of energy to have everybody with a similar intent, everyone helping each other. And so I just wanted to say a few words in support of Pam's Academy and a little background of Pam. You know, Pam, I've known Pam, yes, over 3 decades. And I want to comment a little because I have been in the spiritual healing, human potential community for pretty much all that time. And I've seen a lot. And I've been with psychics and healers and all sorts of folks. And on Maui, there was a very large spiritual community. And I'll mention something. There was a spiritual newspaper that would print up ads for all the different healers and psychics and practitioners. And I knew these people personally. And a lot of what was portrayed in their advertisements was, shall I say, not exactly what I experienced. And this can happen because, you know, there may be very well-intentioned people, but there's a lot of folks who haven't been in the trenches. They really haven't gone through a lot of the personal experience. They don't have a lot of history with their subjects. They may have taken a few online classes or read a few books, and then they've come up with a new system or given themselves a title even. But what I'm getting to is that, you know, Pam has been there and authentic and real and really working at the healing and the psychic and service aspects for over 3 decades. And so I think I want to repeat what she had mentioned. These are very, very different times than we have experienced ever before. We had a taste of it in 87 or so, and then there have been openings, but this past few years, especially the past 2 years, is incredible. And for those of you who are sensitive or don't know that you're sensitive and having a lot of symptoms, we're headed to a very huge influx of light and changes. This is, you know, scientifically, you can validate them. You can go to the NASA data and see that we're in a very high photon, high energetic area of space that we've never been in before. It was foretold of in a book called Photon Belt by a friend that I know, Sheldon Neidl. But we are actually in it physically. There are magnetic changes in the past month. I think they had to even change at all the airports, update where true north was, magnetic north was, because it moved so much. Planes had to reorient. There is a resonance change, a Schumann resonance. The vibration of the earth has changed. There are sites that you can look that up. It's scientific evidence. So don't get lost in only thinking in terms of etheric or multidimensional. There's a lot of scientific validation, if you look for it, and medical in the literature of what we're talking about and what we're addressing. It's just that we're approaching it from a healing aspect. So we're using some of the terminology. And I've also been in, I had shamanistic training. And what I can validate from being on the Academy site is, and I tested it myself, I would go through the different trainings, the different seminars, the different attunements, and notice what I was experiencing, because I have a lot of experience in various modalities. And definitely what Pam is doing is very strong. If you resonate with it, I highly recommend that you spend a few days with it on the trial. And if you feel drawn to it, as Pam has mentioned, if you feel intuitively attracted and resonant with it, this type of work can be very, very deep. You would have to find a practitioner and pay lots of money and spend lots of time to get the equivalent of this kind of a internal assistance and shift on the energetic levels. Because the body, if you go and do your research, the body is many different levels of energies. You know, you have acupuncture meridians, you've got different levels of aura, mental, emotional aspects, you've got different chakra systems that everybody is talking about, but that's all the past. And I will say that my personal experience is that's all changing. So even the chakra systems, anything that was written before, that's all moving. So what we're going into in the next 10 years, I think, is going to be a whole different world in every aspect that you can think of. And the natural reaction will be disorientation. There may be a little bit of fear, but if you have some understanding and some energetic support and some intention and a group to move with, you will be much better off and fare quite well as we move through changes and be able to adopt and adapt to it. And the thing is, when you're able to do that, you will be able to help those that you love, those that are around you in your workplace, and anyone that comes into your sphere. You will be a guiding light for them, even without having to be a coach or a healer. If you just can become grounded, centered, peaceful, strong within yourself, you will be the guiding light for other people. Just your presence. Presence is going to be so important as we get into the next few years. So I'm sorry to take up so much time, but I just wanted to emphasize that what Pam is offering is of value. And if you can just tap in with your own intuition, use your, do some personal inquiry, get quiet, and have some experience with the attunements and some of the energy activations that she has on the website, I think you'll be pretty pleased and quite surprised, and much benefit can come of it.
Oh, thank you, Ken. Gosh. Wow. I thank you for sharing all that. I knew that everything's changing and the magnetics and all that, but yeah, we're going through a different part of your galaxy, universe, whatever you want to call it, than we ever have before. So everything is accelerating. And it does feel pretty intense. So, but I thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I think at this point, the people that are left on the call, almost everybody is already in the academy. So, but I'll direct people to this recording if they have any questions. But yeah, I can't wait to get started and go deeper into the work in the group. Is there anything else you want to share? Because I mean, you're the only person in the academy who knew me when I was really kind of flying like out there, right? Like I was out there, like really out there, guys. And you don't want to be out there; you want to be grounded. So I was out there, and yeah, Ken saw me through that.
Yes, it's one way to to evolve. You had the strength to do it. Others won't go that way because they wouldn't have the strength, nor would they have the time. We're in an accelerated timeline. And I am so proud and glad to be your friend and have seen your progress, and to know that you've come to this level where I think I had mentioned in a message that my resonance with your current work is like, I feel that it is more powerful for me than Mas Sajadi's work. And I had done, several of his attunements, we would call attunements.
Yeah, what do we call it?
I forget.
Yeah, the Medi healings.
I did yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did a few months. I saw him in person. So I'm pretty well experienced with his work. Also, Bratso.
Bratso, yes. I worked for Bratso for a short while. For several months.
Oh, that's awesome. But I talked to a whole bunch of his people, and they were like totally, and I experienced them in person. You have a particular talent and ability, and it's different from all of those other folks, and it's valuable. I am, I'll share that one attunement on the hiding is kicking my butt. I mean, even with all of
fighting.
Yeah. With all that I've experienced, I'm totally loving having access to the Academy resources, because it's really helping me in this time.
Yeah, and like I said, we're just getting started. So the whole goal, the people that are in Academy now, all you folks, which is most of you on the call, we're gonna dig in deep, and I'm gonna be just doing more attunements. So the goal is to really launch 2020 with a lot more support and help, that I've given you, that is now recorded and available, and you can go back to, so that it literally is healing on demand, like when you need it, like, oh my God, I need grounding, or oh my God, even like I need pain relief, or I need to get more clear guidance, I'm just so confused. All those things. So, so there's a lot to come. And then next year, who the hell knows? I mean, there's even more to come next year, but we're, on the runway leading up to the shift into 2020. And I'm just taking it on that timeline, not trying to look too far down the road, just aiming for January when the Academy will reopen. It's going to be on a bigger level. So it'll be exciting. It'll be good for all of us. So. But thanks, Ken, and thanks everybody for being on the webinar. And we've gone way, way over. And Des says, oh my God, amazing. Thank you for sharing more stories about young Pam. Please. Hey, I wasn't that young back then, and I certainly am not young now. But I'll share more stories of those days. It was pretty wild, and it's still wild. So thanks, Ken, and I know you'll be on Academy calls, so we'll talk again. And on the Academy calls, we'll do some calls where it'll be less of a webinar, more of a meeting where people all get to talk, especially in the hot seat sessions. Okay. But even in a webinar, like you've just experienced, I can pull somebody on screen and talk. So we'll do that. But anyway, have a great evening, everybody. And see you around, see you in the Facebook group, the Soul Authority Academy Facebook group, and also in the Angels of Manifestation. So have a great evening. And see you guys. Oh, see you on, you guys are in the Academy, see you on the 12th, right? So great. Good evening and good night.